So we're here for the third Cohort's demo day for the NGA Accelerator. So I want to tell everyone a little bit about the NGA Accelerator, what it means for all the companies in the program and for you in the room and for St. Louis. So the Accelerator is a partnership between three organizations, the NGA, of course, Capital Innovators, as well as the Missouri Technology Corporation. I believe that we have a few of the Missouri Technology Corporation board members in the room, so thank you guys for coming. So just to give everyone an idea of what the companies have been working on for the last 12 weeks, they have been working closely with their NGA champion teams. So each company, as they go through the program, gets to work really closely with specific people within NGA on specific problem sets. This gives the companies the opportunity to get specific feedback from potential end users. It's really an unparalleled process that hasn't happened before for an organization like NGA. They also work really closely with a lead mentor. That lead mentor is an expert on the commercial side. So the companies, all the companies that are going through the program are dual use. So they have applications within DoD as well as the commercial sector. And our mentors work to guide them through that commercial market as well as help them get the most out of their champion teams. And we'll be thanking them in just a minute. They also, throughout the program, go through weekly workshops working on things like their financial models, their marketing plans, their sales plans, a wide variety of things. They work with a lot of one-on-one mentors, other experts within the DoD, a lot of networking opportunities, and pitch practice. So all the companies are going to be up here pitching today for you. They've been working on this pitch for 12 weeks, but receiving a lot of feedback from a bunch of different people and working on incorporating that to make sure that they're telling their story in the best way possible. They also have access to Moonshot Labs. I hope everyone here has had the opportunity to visit it. It's on the third floor here in T-Rex, the public-private space, an opportunity for them to engage with each other as well as other people in NGA. It's really been a great landing spot for all of these companies that have come across the country here in St. Louis. The companies also did receive grant funding for going through the program. So these are the mentors that I mentioned. It's an excellent group of gentlemen that have worked really closely, put in a ton of time to help these companies. So I want to take a second to acknowledge them. If you guys want to stand, we can give them a quick round of applause. We'd really appreciate it. Awesome. And like I said, this is our third cohort. So we've already had two other cohorts go through the program. This is a sample of all of their logos here. They've already had a lot of wins. I think that we just pulled some reporting data on the first cohort alone, and in the first 6 months of this year, that cohort has already raised $12 million in venture funding, which puts the total for all of these companies over $30 million collectively, which is an outstanding stat for such a small group of companies, something we're really proud of. They all continue down the road to contract with various DoD organizations. Some of them, I believe at least 3 of them, 4, are close to doing $1 million in revenue. They're on track to do $1 million in revenue this year. I know one of them is close to 5. They'll be closing this year out at $5 million in revenue, which is really outstanding for companies at this stage and really speaks to the success of the program and everything that we're able to do as we work with these companies. And that brings us to our third cohort, the newest group. So this is the group that you're going to be hearing speak today. Yeah, we're really excited. If you saw out front, we have tables set up afterward. Please connect with these companies, these founders. They all have name tags on, so you can talk with them then, get their contact information. We'll also be sharing it all out afterward. All of their information will be available on the Capital Innovators website. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to our first presenter. First up, we have Ross Johnson with TerraDepth.
Thanks so much. My name is Ross Johnson. I'm a director of product at TerraDepth. We are based in Austin, Texas, and we are an ocean data company. We're focused on solving problems around acquisition, management, and visualization of ocean data. So in 2003, Google Earth really changed the way people interact with terrestrial geospatial data just simply by making it very accessible for people to fire up an application, see mosaic aerial imagery, all mosaic together. And TerraDepth's vision is to create a Google Earth for the ocean that's an immersive, high-resolution, digital twin of the seabed to drive a step change in undersea awareness. So we are bringing a holistic solution to undersea awareness with two main parts. So one of the main issues around data acquisition in the seabed is that it's super expensive. A manned vessel is required. It costs about $30,000 per day, and it's very slow. So we're bringing a long-range autonomous underwater vehicle to market that's got a diesel-electric recharge system in it that allows it to recharge its batteries at sea. We are not going to be selling that, our hardware. We will be operating AV in a survey-as-a-service model. In the space of managing and visualizing ocean data, right now it's quite challenging in the commercial market and defense space as well. We are bringing Absolute Ocean to market. We just launched it last week. We've got some live customers using it right now in the hydrographic commercial space. And it is a web-based ocean data management platform that's 3D first and easy to use for anyone. You don't need to be a geospatial expert to use Absolute Ocean. So our AUVs are going to change the economics of ocean data collection to make it scalable. So the market is for mapping the economic exclusivity zones is a $450 billion market. We're going to be able to operate without a manned surface vessel, and we're going to be able to operate profitably at 50% the going rate of what it costs to map the ocean today. Our vehicles are 9 meters long, 1 meter wide. They've got 30-day range, and they'll be able to operate port to port. These will be ready at the end of 2023. Until then, we're going to be operating commercially available off-the-shelf AUVs that are rated down to 1,000 meters to conduct commercial surveys. That brings me to Absolute Ocean. I work on Absolute Ocean all day, every day. This is our web-based ocean data management portal. Users can upload, visualize, and download data through AO. It's you can see it's a pretty minimalistic UI. We've got 2,300 or so surveys in there. We've got our own data, we've got publicly available data, and then we've got customer data in AO. So in the commercial hydrographic market, it's very challenging to move data around, to manage data. Hard drives are mailed, and then users, analysts download huge files and open them up in complicated, expensive, hard-to-use software before they can even visualize surveys. So with Absolute Ocean, it's as easy as sending someone a link like you would do with a Google Doc to share a visualization. For the Navy conducts surveys all the time, and that data gets analyzed, and then that data goes and sits on a hard drive and it gets siloed and it's not discoverable. The Navy is very interested in using Absolute Ocean in the field as a repository for operators to be able to get situational awareness through visualization. So we've built this so that it can be installed on a private cloud, and they're very interested in that. We are also going to be rolling out an AI feature to automatically detect targets, and the value prop here is really around reducing operator workload and speeding up operations, allow folks to make better and faster decisions. This is a bit about our leadership team. We were founded by Joe Wolfel in 2018. Joe is a combat veteran Navy SEAL, spent 16 years serving in the SEALs. He is a serial entrepreneur. He has already started and sold a company. And we've got Ken Childress. He's our Chief Revenue Officer. He's got 30 years of experience in the maritime space. He's a principal at Harbor Wing, and he founded Ocean Arrow. We've got Chris Ryberg. He's our COO. He has got 30 years of experience in operations and various C-level roles. And I am the Director of Product for Absolute Ocean. I've got a geography degree from Dartmouth College and an MBA from University of Texas at Austin. I was a GIS analyst for a couple of years, turned product manager, and I've got over 10 years of experience building spatially oriented software. This is a little bit of our history. In January, we completed a $20 million Series A. And in March, we launched a beta of Absolute Ocean. In May, we completed our first paid survey out in Hawaii for a commercial customer using our commercial off-the-shelf AUVs. And we just launched AO last week, and we're continuing to work on our large-scale AUV, and we'll be rolling that out next year. Last week and this week, we've been conducting a field experiment with the NGA and SOCOM in Virginia Beach, where we have demonstrated a full cycle of collecting data with our commercial off-the-shelf vehicles, uploading that into AO, where NGA analysts were able to view it visualize it, do some measurements, and then download it for analysis in ArcGIS. And that's gone very well. I'm happy to demo later Absolute Ocean, anyone who's interested, and I can show you what this looks like. I'd like to thank Capital Innovators for helping us get this going, get that engagement going with NGA. It was great, and thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Ross. All right, up next we have Rob Galvin with Frame.
All right, hello everybody. My name's Rob Galvin. I'm a senior associate on the growth team at Frame, and at Frame, we're mapping humanity. Frame gives users the ability to zoom in to not just a country or city, but down to the community level and understand more about people's attitudes, behaviors, and attributes than ever before. The map here is showing people's attitudes towards China and Taiwan. We can do this down to the 1 kilometer resolution. This is an excellent example of the type of data that we can produce for nearly any country in the world. So we have also found that this data can help answer pressing national security questions. For example, which people and places are most vulnerable to an external influence? What media channels influence attitudes in specific areas? And what groups and locations are most likely to resist a future invasion? So to make this local, novel human geography data that you're seeing here, we're taking tens of thousands of surveys and actively combining them with satellite imagery using our advanced machine learning technology. Excuse me. So this approach allows us to produce detailed, reliable data on almost any country in the world. After having many discussions with members within the DoD and IC, the clear takeaway is that there is a growing demand for this type of human geography, especially in the terms of geopolitical competition. So through our discovery process, what we've learned is that the market does not offer an alternative solution for detailed, accurate human mapping. The standard industry, or excuse me, most existing data on human attributes are extremely high level and general. They can get extremely expensive, and they can also be lacking in accuracy and methodological rigor. So let's take this question, for example. How many people in Thailand, a critical United States ally in Southeast Asia, have a favorable opinion towards the US right now? The standard industry answer to that question is 76.4%. That's great to know, but only Frame can zoom in and give you, helpful to know, but only Frame can answer this question at community level, and Frame can also help answer this question time over time, show changes in demographics and attitudes. This opens up a whole new door of possibilities for geospatial analysts. So let's take a look at an example of some work that we've been performing with an Air Force customer of ours. We help them explore the question, which Thai military bases are in areas that are highly vulnerable to Chinese influence? Using a detailed list of Frame's data layers, as you see on the left-hand column here, we built a localized map of Chinese influence across the entire country. Then we pulled specific data and insights on specific locations to help inform assessment of processes. With Frame, similar kinds of data and analysis can be conducted nearly in almost any place of the world. So we've been extremely fortunate to participate in this Accelerator program with several extremely helpful NGA champions and one heck of a great mentor. Shout out to Dave Briggs. But after many discussions inside and outside of, with prospective users inside and outside NGA, we're extremely confident that our unique capability can make a big impact across the entire DoD and IC. These are some of the mission-critical applications that we've identified early on in our discovery process, though we believe that there are many other ways that we can help bring value to the national security space. So, what makes Frame so special, and is the data actually any good? Let me explain how we come up with our human geography data. So fundamentally, Frame is a machine learning technology. Like I said earlier, we're actively taking tens of thousands of surveys and combining it with satellite imagery. The result is high resolution data on attitudes, behaviors, and attributes with a high degree of confidence. So we have a novel data product that can offer unique value that can't be found elsewhere in the market. Specifically, our population offers unprecedented level of geospatial analysis, and we can do this for almost any human factor. Our unique technology and processes give data with a high level of rigor and confidence. This is essential for high quality intelligence analysis. We can produce data for almost nearly any country of the world, making Frame a foundational global human geography solution. So let's go over the Frame story a little bit more. We've been growing aggressively for the past 5 years with companies that include Fortune 500, international organizations, and major foundations. For the past few years, we've been working hard to tailor our data and our products to meet the needs of the DoD and IC. And then we have also found that Frame's data is a dual use case solution. We are a commercial market, and we also support the DoD, and we're eager to continue to partner with the NGA and scale throughout the entire organization. Meet the Frame team. We built a team specifically to build our government sector. We're ready to apply maximum efforts and expertise to continue to help scale within the organization. So please stop by our booth across the hall. Heather and Catherine and myself would be more than happy to answer any questions or go over some of the use cases in a little bit more detail. All right, so let me leave you with an example of some of the work that we've been doing with our NGA champion team. And this is just one of the many applications that we've identified early and to bring value to the organization. So this slide unpacks local drivers of migration for different populations in Guatemala. The map illustrates the local populations to migrate in the near future, while the table illustrates with community level precision what are the drivers or what are those things that push those people to migrate in the near future. This kind of data and insight allows a tailored, localized approach to policy for not only the security, but also the humanitarian space as well. Again, we're eager to continue to work with the NGA to scale our capability and ultimately make a huge impact across the entire GeoInt community and the US government. Thank you.
All right, up next we have Pandata Tech, Gustavo Sanchez. Come on up, Gustavo.
Thank you. So hi everybody, my name is Gustavo Sanchez. I'm one of the co-founders of Pandata Tech. And our purpose as a company is to create tools and services that provide both users and decision systems data they can trust to be reliable. There's cybersecurity considerations to this problem. A decision system needs to account for two types of risks. Number one is the external risk, which is actors from outside the system trying to break in. The other risk is the internal risk, which could be a bad actor or a component internal to a system that exacerbates bad data quality for bad decisions in the system. Contrary to popular belief, the number one risk to decision systems is the data they depend on. It is internal in nature. This directly translates to users and data professionals not trusting their decision systems, so they spend upwards of 80% of their time validating their data, and their decision systems are unreliable. They can miss upwards of 50% of predictable events. When we're talking about geointelligence applications, bad actors can purposely introduce unqualified and bad data into data streams. Here we have maritime vessel traffic data introduced and spoofed both in the Russia territorial sea and in China. Through the program, we adapted our technology to an NDA decision system. The decision system looks like this, where you have vessels sending out maritime traffic data. It is ingested, the large amounts of data, by NGA, which is processed and sent to the analysts. The analysts grab this data, turn it into intelligence, and send it to the users. Could be a naval vessel offshore. They act upon this intelligence. The assurance of this geo-intelligence throughout the process is important. It's important to note that anywhere in the decision system you can have risk introduced, whether it's the bad actors purposely introducing bad data offshore, or components, configurations, and people inside the system, all affecting the quality of the data and therefore the intelligence. So let's talk about this data quality concept. It is not about missing values. It is not about outlier detection, and it is not about simple anomalies. What we need to be able to answer is whether the data throughout the decision system, it is reliable, relevant, accurate, and valid for that specific decision at that specific point in time. And the way we do that is with our data quality method technology software, where first we make sure the appropriate metadata is defined. Step number 2, there's about over 30 validation checks, in this case on the spatial aspect of the data, the temporal aspect of the data, every dimensional signal of the data. Real special stuff happens in step 3. Physics can create specifications, behavioral specifications for each data channel. And AI makes sure all the incoming data adheres to the spec. Talking about maritime vessel traffic data, an example is we're making sure the tanker vessels are not reporting that they're moving like sailboats because they have specific behaviors. Step 4, we aggregate all this information and we assign a quality score from 0 to 100%, letting you know how much risk there is in using that data during that decision. You want to be able to use it throughout the decision system, whether it's large quantities of data at ingest or analysts looking at specific vessels, all towards creating reliable and trustworthy intelligence throughout the decision system. NGA's top tech priorities, one of them is access to data and data integrity and assurance. So it's about creating trustworthy, reliable data. So let's look a little bit about what the proof of concept that we built. So you have this big vessel, that's a seismic vessel, that overall in the Gulf of Mexico is reporting really good quality data. However, it makes a mistake and it reports as a winging craft vessel, this airplane-looking thing. So obviously that's not right. So the DQM automatically catches that mistake, corrects the mistake to create the right intelligence offshore. On the right side, you have a really good-looking behavior of a tanker vessel, 90% data quality, which is virtually perfect. On the other side, you have a very odd pattern, which is very familiar to intelligence analysts in this field. Again, we're immediately identifying it, reducing the quality from 100 to 35%, letting the users know that there's risk in using this data. Direct impact of value is time and money. Here you have the innovation director of the world's largest offshore drilling contractor saying that we help them accelerate a distributed deployed decision system from 2 years to 12 weeks, all because of this risk mitigation. What took a team of subject matter experts in that company to do in a week, we were able to do in 6 minutes in a local computer. We do have more government experience. We have sole source authority for contracting for internal risk mitigation, the data validation we're talking about, but also time series data labeling for increased reliability in decision systems. The Joint Artificial Intelligence Agency awarded us the Data Readiness and Artificial Intelligence Development Contract Vehicle. Outside of that, we are part of multiple OTA consortia where we do partner with some of the bigger primes on bigger contracts. There is dual use applications for this. In fact, it was developed that way. It can be deployed in the case of NGA fully on-prem, or in the case of something very commercial on cloud or hybrid. We usually live in the SCADA and ICS world. That stands for Industrial Control Systems and Supervisory Controls, making them more reliable. But for the work that we did, there's supply chain and insurance applications for this geospatial maritime work. Jessica and I are the co-founders of the company. Today's Jessica's 21st birthday. She's a 3-time entrepreneur. I'm a 2-time entrepreneur. She leads business and strategy, and I do data science and a lot of the technical sales. We're very proud we were able to achieve. Special shout out to the NGA champion team led by Georgia, Beth, right there, Ken Harold, our mentor, and Brett and Frank. Awesome stuff. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Gustavo. All right, we got one more, and then we're going to take a little bit of a break and have a another speaker join us. Sue Pullman with NGA is going to be joining us. So up next, we have Eric Ingram with Scout. There we go.
I'm going to throw off the vibe and go from the other side here, so just to change things up. My name is Eric Ingram, co-founder and CEO of Scout. My vice president of product, Will Preissner, was the person we had directly involved in this program. So he was doing all of the important stuff, and I was just kind of watching from afar. He had a family emergency, so I'm stepping in. So any of the successful things we did were his fault, not mine. So just as a heads up. So just to warn you, we are a space company, like the one above us, not like a commercial, area space where we're in. And we're developing next generation space domain awareness capabilities. So space is already crowded. Just in 2019 alone, there were something like 400,000 conjunctions or near collisions in space to at least to any degree of risk tolerance. The number of spacecraft that we will launch over the next decade is expected to go up 40x. We will launch more satellites in the next few years than the entirety of humanity's history leading up to it. The way we currently track things in space is predominantly using ground-based radars and optical telescopes that look up and track the dots going overhead and eventually determine which dot is which satellite, piece of debris, or of course UFO. And as the space traffic becomes more densely populated, more mature and capable, they just won't be able to keep up with how the industry is evolving. So what we're developing is in-space systems and services to help complete that data set and provide a new paradigm of observational capabilities in orbit, at very least on the commercial side, and probably at a slightly lower cost point than some of the DoD systems out there. So we're predominantly a software-based product that has a proprietary computer vision, machine learning, and guidance, navigation, and control software stack that when on board customer satellites or our own satellites allow them to be aware of their surroundings. So you can think of like autonomous vehicles driving, but in space for satellites. And a lot of our initial software development is around the core necessities for that: 6 degree of freedom pose estimation, object detection identification, ranging and determining motion vectors of objects you're looking at. And we're getting better at it by the day. So slight formatting issues, but this is a comparison between current state-of-the-art ground-based radars and what we can hypothetically offer with our Scout systems. So while those are renders, those are accurate to the size of the pixels that would be in the images. And so by deploying assets in space, not only can we get a varied kind of data, so we can see objects from multiple angles from both one asset we're operating and multiple at the same time, as well as by adding different kinds of sensors on board. So we're currently using RGB or panchromatic. We will be adding multispectral in the near future, and then sometime next year hyperspectral, and so we'll be able to gather more and more varied kinds of data on the objects we're looking at. If I could invite my lovely assistant up here. We did not practice this. So this is our first product. It is called Scout Vision. It is a payload that goes on board customer spacecraft and is a stereoscopic imager that provides all of the fun things I talked about before. Yep, we can do pictures later too, yes. You can take a picture with it if you want. This serves as the core of the technology we're developing. Our initial product goes on board customer spacecraft, and I think I'm accidentally clicking. Again, we didn't practice this. So, so it goes on board customer spacecraft, and we're developing our own spacecraft called Oversat, which we will be deploying the first of next year that can be independently tasked and operated by us for commercial and governmental reasons. And we'll be announcing a new product in the somewhat near future that is a much more enhanced version of the Scout Vision system here, and provides the capability of a independent spacecraft, but in a hosted payload. And so a lot more fun things around the corner, and we've got a lot of traction on the governmental side and the commercial side for that as well. So you're not a real space company until you have something in space. And by that metric, we became a real space company last June when we launched our first payload aboard the Orbit Fab Tenzing spacecraft, which was deployed on the SpaceX Transporter 2 mission. So we do have flight heritage as a startup, which is almost unheard of in the space industry, and we've been able to be extremely efficient with our assets and our resources. Let's see. So here we are with our product development. We launched the first Scout Vision last year. We signed a commercial contract with a company called Momentous to fly 2 payloads on their spacecraft next year, and we're working to deploy our first oversat next year as well. I mentioned the new product we have coming out that we'll be announcing later this year, which will be available and operational by 2024, and then we'll be scaling up our operations through 2025 and beyond to get as much continuous coverage of low Earth orbit as possible so that we can maintain continuous custody of every object in low Earth orbit. So you can track an object through its entire revolution around the Earth at any given time, which is impossible by today's standards. So we were founded in 2019, but really hit our stride in 2021. We started the Techstars Space Accelerator program and launched that mission in the same month. And since then, it has been just nonstop, and my team has been doing amazing things. We've been awarded 6 government contracts in the last 8 months, and we're on track to probably get more in the near future, and we're working to staff up to support those. So we do have several government customers, mostly in the DoD, but we also have 1 NASA contract as well, and we're looking to grow our relationship with IC and other government customers who might have uses for what we're developing. So since we've developed a bit of a Swiss Army knife of a product, it allows us to provide value to different segments of the industry, which we're calculating up to about a $30 billion addressable market in the next decade. Our initial customer base is with the on-orbit servicers and mobility solution providers who do a lot of relative navigation. So these are companies that want to manipulate, repair, move, modernize, refuel other spacecraft. And to do that, you really need to be able to see your customer, which shockingly is an important fact. And so what we're doing is providing those vision systems to better enable these operations so that even as they get more and more complex, they can happen autonomously and removing humans in the loop, which can delay these operations significantly and have a high error rate, so you have to like reset maneuvers all the time just due to bad maneuvers. We're on track to do about $20 million in revenue over the next 3 years. We projected $2 million of revenue for this year, and we're already at 2.8 of booked revenue for this calendar year. So we think we're going to exceed our projections going forward. We are currently participating in the NGA Accelerator, which has been fantastic. We're also participating in the Illuminate Accelerator in Rochester, New York, which is focused on like optoelectronics, computer vision, and optics. As I mentioned, our participation in the NGA Accelerator has been amazing. I'm sure Will could give much better testimony to this than I, but the areas of focus we've been working with them on, one is regulatory focused. In the space industry, NOAA regulates imagery of any kind taken in space, and so we've been working with NGA to kind of better guide what that looks like going forward. I was recently appointed to the NOAA ACRES committee, which is an advisory committee for that. And so we're working to do that. With our first mission we were awarded a Tier 2 non-Earth imaging license for anyone aware, and so we've been through that process and want to make it better. Additionally, we're working on ways we can better format our data to fit with IC systems and DoD systems so that we can better integrate once they come online. Additionally, we've had a great team of people helping us out. I was told specifically to make sure I call out Shane and Marina from NGA, who helped us out a ton. But again, everybody on this page did wonderful things for us and helped us out. And you can fault them for making it a short pitch, or else I'd call you out individually. But we appreciate it. We have a very capable team who's done amazing things. I am honestly the worst person on the team, so that's great. I have a background in pretty much everything in the space industry. Started out as an engineer at an asteroid mining company where I figured out I was a terrible engineer, so I stopped doing that. Went into the nonprofit sector for a while, both in and out of the space industry, and then landed at the FAA Office of Commercial Space Transportation, doing licensing and regulating of the launch and reentry industry, and I helped do rulemaking activities as well, so I have a pretty entrenched knowledge of the space regulatory ecosystem, which very few companies, especially early stage companies in the space industry, have. My co-founder Sergio has background in pretty much every spacecraft subsystem, and we put together an amazing very diverse team with a lot of capabilities. I don't know what I'm saying. And of course, Will is our VP of Product and Strategy. He spent 11 years at NGA, and we're supported by recently retired Colonel Stuart Pettis, who helped stand up Space Force, and everyone else on the page is amazing. Again, I'm the worst one. So this is kind of an overview of everything I discussed before. We're really hitting our stride, and the traction is actually ridiculous that we're getting right now, and I don't say that lightly. And we are raising a round to help support staffing up to support these contracts and get more missions off the ground. So we can chat about that later if you're interested. And I appreciate your time and look forward to the selfies with the payload later. So thank you.
Awesome, thank you. We're going to take a short break. We are still waiting on our speaker to arrive from another location. So we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, 5-10 minutes, and then come back in, grab a bottle of water. We might as well set the cookies out early, and we'll be back in just a minute.
All right, hello everyone. Welcome back from our quick break. Thanks for joining us. My name is Christine Woodard. I am NGA's Ecosystem Engagement Lead. I am the Program Director for Moonshot Labs and a proud team member of the NGA Accelerator. It is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker today, Ms. Sue Pullman. Sue has been with NGA since 1997 and has served in various leadership roles. She's currently dual-hatted as the NGA West Executive and the Program Director of Next NGA West, otherwise known as N2W. As the West Exec, she is the NGA Director's Lead for the St. Louis region, and as the Program Director for N2W, Sue oversees the planning, design, and construction of our new campus in St. Louis, which is about 1.5 miles in that direction. Sue, we thank you for your leadership and dedication, enabling innovative approaches to knowing the Earth, showing the way, and understanding the world. Over to you, ma'am.
Hello, hello. Good to see everyone today. I honestly wasn't expecting such a big crowd, so this is awesome. Thanks to all, particularly Christine, for asking me to be a part of this event today. It's pretty exciting. I'm going to make some brief remarks, and it's maybe going to sound a little motherhood and apple pie, and I assure you those who know me know that even if the speechwriters hand me superlatives, I generally don't use them unless I really feel it. So bear with me, but I do think a lot of what's going on in this room and beyond the walls of this building is really important to what we do. So it's great to see all of you who are engaged in our GeoEnt mission. And thank you to Missouri Technology Corporation and Capital Innovators for partnering with NGA to execute this first of its kind partnership between a corporate accelerator and a government intelligence agency. So there's exciting thing number one. We have confirmed that early and frequent interaction and collaboration with industry and academia is absolutely critical to our NGA mission, to our customers, and to our strategic partnerships. By working together, we can better achieve NGA's mission of providing world-class geospatial intelligence to U.S. service members and other leaders to keep our nation secure. Further, as an agency, NGA clearly understands that we must make a way and expand our abilities to conduct all of that interaction, or not, I shouldn't say all of that interaction, but a lot of that interaction in the open. This is particularly important as we look to the completion of our new campus over at N2W in 2025, move in by March of 2026. Just a few short years ago, the vision that was established to use the opportunity afforded by Next NGA West to further this idea of collaboration in the open. We've dedicated a significant portion of that new facility to that end. We are purpose-building space to grow collaboration with current and new mission partners and to test and demonstrate new solutions in unclassified spaces. N2W will deliver a modern, flexible, and collaborative facility in support of NGA's evolving geospatial intelligence mission, and I can tell you that without doubt today. Yesterday, we completed the critical design review of our technology design for N2W. That was kind of the last, I won't say missing piece because we had a plan for a long time, but we've put that to bed now. We're moving forward with the technology. Obviously, the facility is well on its way to completion. So I think what we're doing now is the proof is in the pudding stage. So now we have to act to use this great facility to the purposes that we intended. The campus has been built to allow both unclassified and unclassified work, obviously. This provides NGA with the opportunity to collaborate with non-traditional partners who may not hold a security clearance. The building will have specific spaces dedicated to unclass work where NGA employees and partners can work together directly. So that's the key there, to be able for all of you to come in, clearance or not, but for our employees then to have access to you, to be able to work side by side with you. N2W will have a learning center with spaces to provide educational forums and academic events with area students. An innovation center will serve as a collaboration lab with a flexible environment for emerging technology, such as application development with our non-traditional partners. N2W will give NGA the ability to capitalize on the geospatial community synergy in the St. Louis region. It allows for further collaboration that transcends into various parts of the NGA, including acquisitions, making a more agile workforce with adaptive technologies, investing in our ecosystem partners, and influencing future technology. The building's unclassed space and the Innovation Center will open up opportunities for working with partners in a way that the intelligence community really has never done before. N2W is more than just a building. We say that all the time. It truly represents how NGA is moving toward establishing different ways of doing business. This represents a key aspect of how we, as an agency, are evolving. Achieving our goals will require the entire enterprise to come together to share and create expertise, to develop new technologies and products to improve our efficiencies in collecting and using GeoInt to leverage information across domains. With St. Louis actively aspiring to be a leader in geospatial science and technology, N2W will be strategically close in proximity to this region's leading universities and innovation hubs. We will leverage this proximity in order to spark and facilitate collaboration with established and emerging industry and academia. I'm particularly excited about the fact that NGA did not wait for N2W to open up to start down this path. Our project office, I think we kind of started the ball rolling a few years back by coming up with an unclassed collaborative space over at our 2nd Street complex. While it's somewhat limited, it doesn't have the square footage, for instance, that we have here at Moonshot Labs. It did allow us to host events and to do some mission execution with uncleared partners. It also has really allowed us to reduce both risk and cost in terms of testing out the technology that we plan to use at N2W. And for the past year, we've had the beautiful Moonshot Labs facility downstairs here at the T-Rex, which is seeing rapid opportunity growth every day as we host a vast array of activities in technology development, in future workforce development, and those intentional partnering events. I'm thrilled to see these huge proactive leaps forward in how NGA is partnering and thereby gaining mission momentum. I've seen the interest that the IC and DoD leadership have in what we're doing with N2W and what we're doing here in St. Louis, and how they can apply our initiatives to their own business models, mission statements, and their other requirements. With the prolific GeoInt industry growth combined with the intense civic interest here, our IC counterparts are seeing the wisdom and potential that's driving the need for this open and collaborative approach. There's still plenty of work to be done, obviously. We see that the sky's the limit in what we can collectively create in a vibrant and holistic local environment where GeoInt industry, civic, government, and academic partners are all focused on this idea of a global geospatial center of excellence. And I can't even begin to list all of the amazing energy-driving activities that we're seeing out here that demonstrate the power of that collaboration, but I will throw out the GeoFutures Initiative, the Taylor Geospatial Institute, Gateway Global, and the new SCIF at the Globe Building. There are but a few on that long list. Who would have thought so much would have already been initiated since NGA decided to build our new facility at the corner of Cass and Jefferson. NGA, as you know, delivers world-class geospatial intelligence that provides a decisive advantage to policymakers, to warfighters, intelligence professionals, and first responders. We recognize the important role of small business that small business will increasingly play in advancing our capabilities and advancing innovation for our critical mission in support of the warfighter and national security. Through technology discovery programs like the Accelerator on display today, NGA is able to share unique challenges with industry. Moonshot Labs enables close collaboration between industry and NGA analysts and scientists. This information exchange provides an understanding that helps NGA in our quest to develop, expand, and provide novel capabilities to the warfighter. The NGA Accelerator program, powered by Capital Innovators, is a testament to showcasing innovative technologies. This program has been instrumental in driving R&D and developing innovations in geospatial technology through collaboration and a transfer of technology in the St. Louis region and beyond. To the companies graduating from our cohort today, thank you. I would like to leave you and the rest of our audience with a few parting thoughts. We do need you. We need your expertise. We need your collaborative spirit to find solutions to our most challenging needs. Our job at NGA is a hard one, and it's becoming more complex and difficult every day as our nation's adversaries further their capabilities. We cannot rest, and your contributions to the fight could mean the difference in our ability to stay ahead of evil intent, to protect the men and women who protect us, to stand for liberty, and ultimately save lives. As you get to know NGA better, you will learn that none of that is an exaggeration. So please take advantage of the multiple avenues for doing business with the federal government and with NGA. You can find a link to these programs and more on our nga.mil website at the Work With Us link. And take advantage of the network of contacts you're building with our agency through activities like this Accelerator program. Those people can be a great resource. So thanks again for joining us today, and please enjoy the rest of the planned program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. We really appreciate it. All right, we're going to head into the next 4 pitches to wrap things up today. Next, we have Kyle Goodrich, president of T-Carta.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Kyle Goodrich, the president and founder of T-Carta. We are a space-based coastal mapping company. T-Carta uses satellite imagery, machine learning, and physics-based algorithms to survey coastal waters around the globe for governments and industries to improve safety of navigation, site surveys, and remote reconnaissance. Now, most people think the ocean is well mapped. We have maps of the ocean, it all looks blue, right? It's not. Only about 20% of the ocean is mapped to today's modern standards. This leaves most of the ocean incomplete and outdated, and current methods to survey these areas carry a high cost and high operational risk. This leaves many coastal areas as white space or on a nautical chart. And in this white space is actually where most human activity and navigational hazards exist. This has real-world consequences. In this situation, not only was oil spilled and environment damaged, but 3 people were killed during the salvage operation of this vessel. Now, we're venturing out into new places and more remote locations. When operating in the Arctic and in search of new shipping routes and potentially new fishing grounds. Information on nautical charts is even more sparse. And this isn't a smudge, you can barely see it here. This isn't a smudge on this satellite image. It's actually an uncharted feature that's 6 meters deep. And 2 days later, a vessel runs aground on it. Now it's the site of an international accident, rescue mission, and an oil spill. This has geopolitical implications as well. Deep sea mineral resources and territorial claims make pristine remote atolls and islands into geopolitically and strategically important locations. These areas turn into military bases overnight. And without the use of satellite imagery to have insight into our adversaries' strategies and plans, we are blind to what they are doing. Now, the existing alternatives for mapping the seafloor are primarily exist of surveying the location with a marine vessel, essentially mowing the lawn. Alternatively, you can fly an aircraft that's more scalable and more safe to operate in coastal environments. Unmanned, underwater, and surface vessels also offer scalable solutions and are more environmentally friendly. However, all of these methods require deployment of equipment to the site, which means people, fuel, and batteries. And that's not always desirable or achievable in most locations. Like the previous slide, you would not want to be flying an aircraft over that atoll. Now, the solution is in space, but this isn't new. Jacques Cousteau and NASA sorted this out almost 50 years ago. The physics of ocean optics and wave motions haven't changed for eons. We can measure ocean depth from multispectral satellite imagery, and wave patterns were used to map the invasion of D-Day during World War II. What has changed is we are now entering a new era of Earth observation systems. We can now image anywhere on Earth in near real time using multispectral imagery, hyperspectral imagery, even full motion video. The video in the previous slide was from space. We have space-based lasers that can now validate our processes. And machine learning and cloud computing is where TCAR leverages this technology to integrate these systems and combine and fuse these technologies to greater expand the geographical application of the technology, as well as improve reliability and scalability. Now, when you're operating in the Arctic, and your reconnaissance map might look like this, and available satellite imagery is pretty sparse and ugly looking. TCAR's technology can find the very best pixels out of hundreds or even thousands of satellite images to calculate water depths, creating a 3-dimensional model of a remote location without mobilizing equipment or personnel to the site. This reduces risk to the environment, there's no fuel consumption, and we can repeat this on a near daily basis. And obviously, this comes at a fraction of the cost of mobilizing aircraft or boats to location. Now, our products are dual use. We've had a history of success in the commercial space. We also address government markets in the hydrographic surveying market, geospatial intelligence, and the recreational boating market, coastal insurance with concerns for sea level rise and storm surges, coastal engineering and port designs, and offshore energy, wind, solar, and tidal are coming. Our business models are adapted to address the specific needs of market segments that we participate in. We offer data as a service for customers who need rapid data access for quick projects. For governments, we work through prime contractors to integrate our services through the services they are already using, as well as offer our products on the GSA. For geospatial analysts, we offer software as a service, so analysts can producing their own satellite drive bathymetry, potentially from their own sensors behind closed doors. We've had significant traction to date in the commercial market, and that's where my past experience is. But we've had the recreational boating and coastal engineering market has taken up our products quite considerably. We've also been contracted by international hydrographic offices, including the UKHO, to map the entirety of the Kiribati nation. TCAR has also been a subcontractor on 2 US government contracts to a prime contractor, one for the Maritime Safety Office and one for the Office of Coastal Survey for NOAA. We also contributed our data to the Seabed 2030 program, a global initiative to map the entirety of the seafloor by 2030. We also participate in global capacity building initiatives to increase the awareness of this technology and deploy this around the world. Now, much of this technology has come from 2 small business innovation research grants that TCARTA was awarded starting in 2018. First, the National Science Foundation to deploy scalable satellite drive bathymetry technologies. And we further enhanced our technologies through a NOAA grant, specifically focused on the Arctic and challenging conditions. We're excited now to participate in the Cohort 3 of the NGA Accelerator program and brief the intelligence community and the NGA Maritime Safety Office on our capabilities, receive valuable feedback, and additional use cases for our technologies within the intelligence community. Our work is relevant to the NGA wider mission in a variety of ways. The littoral warfighter is first and foremost on our mind, as well as in disaster response and policymaking around coastal disasters, and particularly in island nations. The NGA also has a safety of navigation requirement and a requirement for safety of life at sea, both for the warfighter and the commercial shipping industry. And that is where our NGA Accelerator program was focused with our champion team. We demonstrated our ability to remotely survey coastal waters in the island nation of Palau, where the NGA is the charting authority, and the source information on this charts were over 100 years old. We demonstrated replacing white space on a nautical chart with satellite-derived bathymetry, and were able to characterize the nature of the seafloor remotely within the scope of this program. Now, TCARTA is a multidisciplinary team of 10 professionals to tackle the challenge of marine remote sensing. I have over 20 years of experience in the geospatial and hydrospatial field. This is our ownership group, very plain and simple. We are 100% US citizen owned, and we've received no dilutional funding to date. That is my company. We are based in Denver, Colorado, 1 mile above sea level, but with a focus on the coastal and littoral environment and expanding space-based capabilities for our customers. Thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to any questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. All right, I'll get the hang of it by the end. Up next, we have Andrew Brick, the Chief Product Officer of Notaros.
Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew Brick, and I am CPO and co-founder of Notaros Inc., based here in St. Louis. Today, I'd like to talk to you about Notaros, our platform for zero trust applications, and how we used it to develop a solution specifically for the NGA. So when we trust someone, it's because we aren't 100% confident about their actions, and we must place some faith in the honesty of their intentions. But of course, there is always a chance that that faith will be betrayed. The only way we can operate with complete trust, with complete confidence, is to operate with zero trust. Now, zero trust is a secure software paradigm that assumes that everyone is adversarial and uses cryptography to eliminate the risks of working with these users. Using zero trust, we can achieve 100% confidence in our data, enabling us to create new kinds of process automation and even novel business models. Now, thanks to the NGA, Capital Innovators, and the Missouri Technology Corporation, over the course of this accelerator, we were given the opportunity to demonstrate the benefits of using zero trust to upgrade one of NGA's existing workflows. So several weeks ago, we talked to the subject matter experts at NGA, and we asked them, what problems are you facing on a daily basis? They told us they were having a hard time getting access to the information they needed because the files were stored in data silos scattered all over the world. As a result, analysts were spending up to 30% of their time just trying to get access to the information they were looking for. And this problem made a lot of sense. If you think about how long it takes to find a file in just one computer, then imagine trying to sift through an entire global network of servers. This was exactly the kind of workflow that could benefit from a zero trust upgrade, because the information was held in many different devices and required high confidence for critical decision making. And so, our objective became clear. We needed to build a new zero trust application that made it easy to store and locate files anywhere across a network. This application would replace the endless process of searching through endless folders with a single unified interface that had visibility into the entire network. At the same time, it would reduce attack surfaces for would-be hackers, making it nearly impossible for them to manipulate data or cover their tracks. This application would be able to be deployed for open access or fine-grained access controls. So this led us to build the Noderos Zero Trust file sharing application. With it, users can upload any kind of file and securely distribute them to their peers. Now it's easy to locate a file across a distributed network, share it with your peers, and prove its authenticity, and even be notified at each version change. Here's how it works. So let's say user Alice wants to share a file with her peers. She uploads a file, and then this makes it available. Now users like Bob can locate the file anywhere on the network with a simple lookup. Then users can download the file, make some edits, upload a new version. And because each new version comes with a unique identifier, everyone who's following that file will be notified of the new version change. Because each event is cryptographically recorded, it's very easy for a user to then trace the version history of every one of their files and know that they haven't been tampered with secretly. And what this does is, because there's no ambiguity about the origin of the data, users no longer have to rely on trust to know that their file is authentic. So what is the real impact for NGA? Well, if you're an NGA analyst, you can deliver reports faster and with provably authentic data. This allows policymakers to make more confident decisions because they are based on more reliable information. And active responders can benefit from increased contextual awareness, knowing that their intel is up to date. So with this application, organizations like the NGA can respond to global events with more certainty and reduced response times. But really, this file sharing application is only the latest application built on the Noderos platform. And Zero Trust can be used across a wide range of industries for a wide array of use cases. Take, for example, our work with Allosense Inc. Allosense is a contractor for the US Air Force that provides IoT devices for tracking the supply chain. And after only a few days of working with the Noderos team, we were able to develop a proof of concept application that proved data traceability from end to end. We saw similar results working with Sonified, a provider of energy grid data collection services. And with Noderos, they were able to parallelize their development process and prove that the energy credits on their system were from solar. And when we work with IRX Reminder, a smart pill dispenser company, we showed how Noderos could create secure data pipelines while retaining the privacy of sensitive patient data. So these are all really just the latest applications we built alongside the file sharing application, leveraging Zero Trust technologies. But really, it's just the beginning of the Noderos ecosystem. With Noderos, we can build all sorts of different kinds of applications and solve all sorts of different kinds of problems. So whether you're from automated accounting to data marketplaces to secure edge computing, we can really do all of those in one unified network. And what's really great about Noderos is because all of the applications that share a platform are able to share data very easily. So each time a new application is added, all of the applications benefit exponentially. And these applications, they can really use, they can be integrated with legacy systems or standalone systems. So this technology is offered in a platform as a service. Our programmable interfaces are accessible through deployments that can be done publicly or privately, on premises or in the cloud. So now it's easy for developers of all kinds to develop secure, compliant, and scalable Zero Trust applications in any programming language. My co-founder and I have spent over 2 decades in the Zero Trust industry, developing at all levels of the stack, from protocol to application. And really, after seeing all the limitations and weaknesses of existing technologies like blockchain, we distilled the lessons we learned into Noderos. Zero trust is the next step of secure software development, and that's why so many organizations are rapidly shifting to this new paradigm. So whether you're trying to track critical supply chains and set up data marketplaces, or just share files with your peers, zero trust is absolutely essential for the intelligence community and wherever information security is paramount. We thank you so much for your time. We look forward to your questions and looking forward to building the future with NGA. Thanks.
All right. Next up, we have Kanwar Sin with Skyline Nav.
Thanks, Frank. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Kanwar Singh, and I'm CEO, co-founder of Skyline Nav AI. This is a pretty picture of St. Louis, and I wish it was as pretty outside, but do keep this picture in mind because I'm going to come back to it. So let's talk about the problem we're trying to solve for. We as a nation and as an economy are highly reliant on GPS. Over the past 2 years, we've talked to over 200 people. And there's this one quote from a former SOCOM officer that I want to use to illustrate this point. We are too heavily reliant on GPS and don't have a good backup system to augment it. I'm going to share an example from what happened recently with Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Right before Russia started invading, they started blocking and jamming and degrading Ukraine's GPS capabilities. Imagine if this were to happen to our service member. I serve in the United States Army in the Massachusetts National Guard, and I gotta tell you, this is personal. Because I do not want to take my men and women on a patrol operation and get lost and lose people's lives, as Ms. Pullman, you mentioned, because they lose GPS and end up in an enemy territory. If you've lived in a big city like New York City or Boston, which is where our team is from, you may have experienced this issue of urban canyon. You lose GPS connectivity, and you're probably spinning around in circles before you can actually get to your destination. This also is a huge problem for commercial markets. Think of UPS and FedEx and Amazon and how much time they're wasting on the road not being able to get to their location on time. The last major solar storm that happened was over 100 years ago, and it took out significant amount of telegraphy equipment in New York City and elsewhere. Imagine what would happen with our ever-connected economy and our dependence on GPS if we had a significant solar storm and that took out our GPS connectivity. And not just that, you have cyber attackers, both big and small, that are actively trying to sabotage GPS satellites and connectivity. And finally, I want to share this example from Cameroon, where a video was circulating online of a genocide being carried out, but the Cameroon government and its military officials did not take responsibility for that action. BBC journalists spent significant amount of time trying to identify man-made and natural discernible skylines in those videos, and they actually did identify the people who were involved. And the Cameroon government did have to backtrack and take responsibility for having carried out its genocide activities. So this brings us to our tech and what we can do. We can identify discernible skylines, both natural and man-made, compare them against digital elevation model data sets, and give you your location back. Imagine what the possibility could be. If you get lost, you take out your phone, take an image around you, and being able to geolocate. Let me give you an example of St. Louis. Remember that arch that I showed you on the first slide? Well, we actually took digital surface model data sets and also a Google Maps satellite imagery, and keep this arch in mind. Next, we took a Google Street View 360 image, and then we ran it against our algorithm. We were able to geolocate this image within a fraction of a second. Imagine the possibilities of what can happen when we were not so reliant on GPS and could use viable alternatives that give you more accurate and precise location. Our technology has proven effective in 13 cities for which we've conducted testing from the data that we have gotten through NGA Grid and also Maxar. And we are continuing to test this technology against more cities and also create some noise so we can ensure this algorithm is going to continue to improve over time. Let me talk about some of the commercial use cases. I talked about the ability of UPS and FedEx and Amazon drivers of being able to have a dash cam that'll help them geolocate. Well, similar technology and capability can help autonomous vehicles and robots and drone systems. Let me talk about the NGA intelligence use cases that we've been working on with our amazing champion team led by Kat and Duncan and Patrick and Martin and others who've been very instrumental in helping us think through how the NGA can benefit from our technology. Well, there's the issue with drones and drones not being able to accurately navigate themselves, and with the IMU drift problem, well, we can help solve that and complement GPS so that drone can make it from position A to position B in a timely manner. There's also the issue with precision-guided munitions. If a near-peer threat started blocking and jamming GPS, well, guess what? Those munitions would not be able to deliver on the mission set that they're tasked with. That's where our technology can actually help complement GPS. And then finally, the reverse image problem, similar to what I shared with the Cameroon government, right? If we were to get an imagery or video and you're unable to identify where that image or video was taken from, our technology can come in and help fix that. Look, GPS works 95% of the time, but it's only in those 5% when GPS doesn't work that can be the difference between life or death or mission failure. There's other alternatives to GPS, like Wi-Fi, LoRaN, radar, sonar, among others, but they're not as accurate or precise. There's a bunch of companies that are in this space, to include Google and Meta, Leidos, ARA, SiteTech, among others. And they're doing different aspects of this visual navigation problem. Some of them are doing it indoor. Others still rely on Wi-Fi and cellular connectivity. Well, guess what? Our technology does not even rely on any external connectivity. You could simply download our algorithms on an edge device and being able to position and geolocate yourself through that. No connection required. We estimate that the PNT market is expected to grow to over $100 billion over the next few years. The alternative PNT market is going to be about $5.5 billion, and we believe we can capture 100 million of that over the next few years. Now let me talk about our existing product. We actually have visual navigation app on the App Store that you can check it out. Not only that, we have an existing demo of our product on the website, skylinenav.com, which will give you an overview of how this tech works. We're also working on a first implementation for the military through ATAC, the Android Tactical Assault Kit, and we hope to get this in the hand of our warfighters, including some of my men and women in uniform, over the next few months. Our technology is constantly being updated, it's deployed, it can be used over cloud or on edge devices, and then we are making constant refinements to improve this platform over time. We've been very fortunate with the tremendous amount of support we've received as a company in the defense ecosystem. I want to call out a few people at Ensign. I see Mike over there, Mike Sepper, how are you? And Mike Binham at FedTech. Our technology, and Raj and I, my co-founder, we met through a FedTech program that's sponsored by Ensign 2 years ago at the height of the pandemic, and that's when we started this company. This technology originated at the Army Research Lab, for which we have exclusive licensing. And now, over the past 2 years, we've gotten 3 contracts, primarily from the AFWorks and the Air Force Research Lab, as well as the National Science Foundation I-Corps program. And we are tremendously thrilled to be part of this program and continuing to work on additional use cases that can impact our intelligence and defense communities. My co-founder, Raj Sarati, and I have extensive expertise in computer vision and AI, and we've been working in similar areas over the past 2 decades. We've also have tremendous advisors, Rob Nicholson and Tony Morash, who have extensive background in the intelligence and defense ecosystem. We also have existing relationships with MIT, Harvard, and other universities around the country. We would love to partner with each one of you and help build visual navigation. I want to shout out Stephen for the outstanding help we've received as part of our mentoring team, and then also Brett, Frank, and Judy for the outstanding support through the Capital Innovators program. Please reach out, and I'd love to talk and answer your questions. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kanwar. All right, up next, and our final presenter, we have Omid Jafari with Chooch.
Hello, how's everyone doing today? All right, thank you guys for all coming out today. My name is Omid Jafari. I'm the head of sales engineering at Chooch Intelligence Technologies, or as we say, Chooch for short. And before I begin, I know there's a question you guys are all thinking in your head. What kind of a name is Chooch? right? I know you're all thinking it. Well, it's actually the combination of choose and search, and when they're combined together, you get chooch. And we really help giving cameras the power of perception. So we'll be able to talk through some of the key points here. So Chooch is an artificial intelligence platform, and we are able to detect and classify people, objects, and actions. And these can be all from full motion video, images, or video files. And these are all done at the operational and computational edge. Chooch's ability to detect and classify is based on human visual perception. And so let's talk about that. How does that happen? So that gets into our first point. What we do is we run multi-models. So it's layered ensemble models. And to give you an example, if we're, let's say, detecting a gun on a person, the first model we would run is a person detector. From then, we would run a pose estimation model, which is looking at where's your head, where are your hands, where are your feet. From there, we would then deploy multiple models in tandem to then look and do facial authentication or look for weapons in your hand or on your body. And in doing that, we also layer in zones and other rules where we can now start making smart decisions. So if you're in an open carry state and you just have it on your hip, you know, we don't want to call the cops every time we see that. But when it's in your hand, then maybe, yes, we want to notify authorities. And we could do all this processing at the edge, which is on the asset itself. So this could be a vehicle on land, it could be a ship at sea, it could be a drone in the sky, and we hope to eventually get it on a satellite in space. So we're coming for you, Scout, trying to be a space company as well. Or you could also process them at a big ground station, so you could take in multiple feeds. Now, we're widely compatible, so the data is always yours. We don't want anything to do with your data. The data is yours. You could import your own data to generate your own models. You could import your own models. And then when you're done, you can even then export these out. So we're not going to constrict and hold you to our platform. And then we have a robust set of APIs to easily integrate into any other third-party applications or internal systems that you may have. We're also dual use, so we can go from defense to healthcare. A healthcare example could be a nurse monitoring multiple patients at once. You know, if they're in one room, they're not able to know what's going on in some of the other rooms. Patient could come out of surgery, try to get up, hurt themselves, and get readmitted back into surgery. And we're able to get into all these different industries by having a complete AI lifecycle. So from data, procurement, and management to your automated alerts. So let's talk about the complete AI lifecycle. So we offer a full AI lifecycle that is no code, and you're able to do everything from your data set generation, which is you're building your model and training it. So in this first step, what you're going to do is annotate your data. So that could be your images, that could be your video files. And if you don't have a lot of those files or images or videos, then you can create synthetic data as well. So you can import a CAD file and be able to generate a lot of extra data. And then another piece, which people get caught up on a lot, is annotating your data. That can be very timely and costly. So we have a smart annotation tool built in that could run through all your data and annotate it and label it for you. When you're done generating your data set, then you get into the model training. And as part of model training, what you want to do is always test your model, see what kind of performance and accuracies you're getting from it. So we have another tool built in where you apply feedback to the model. And then from there, you can retrain a new model until you're happy with it, and then you can deploy it out. When you deploy, you have the option to pick and choose multiple models per stream, and then apply things like zones. You know, is the person allowed to go in a restricted zone? Are there vehicles in a certain zone? And then you can apply rules with that. And then last, detecting and alerting. Now, we look at computer vision in 3 primary uses. The first one is forensic. Imagine having a large data lake of just images and videos. And now, traditionally, you could probably search it by the file name. And it's usually going to be a hash value or a date and timestamp on it. Well, now, Cheech could index through all that data for you, and now you could do a simple search. You could say, you know, German Shepherd by the beach, and then you get all the instances of a German Shepherd on a beach to really reduce the amount of time going through that data. The second is active monitoring, so doing real-time detection from active stationary cameras or cameras that can be deployed around the world on other moving vehicles or aircrafts. And the third, which we're really interested in and really continue exploring and growing our capabilities in, is the geospatial. And doing geospatial, we're starting to see that it really is an art and a science. Now, everybody is starting to do object detection. There's no question about that. There's over probably 200-300 companies now. You know, people in high school and college are starting to create their own models. But when you create, let's say, a regular model and you run it on an image like you see on the left-hand side, you're going to get that kind of a detection. You're not going to get as many of the objects detected as you get on the right-hand side. Now, you're probably saying, how did you get from the left to the right? Well, we added a pre-processing model as well built in. So now we can do ground sample detection to understand how many images should we slice this one image into. So think about a large satellite image. Now we're slicing them into hundreds or thousands of images and then processing each one, and then we're able to detect like we're doing on the right. Now, we've been in multiple projects. We've done multiple small business innovative research projects with the Air Force and the Army. And our most recent one that we're awarded was with our partner Orbit Logic, where they're able to task satellites out, collect that data, and then give it over to us to process, and then send it back to then get disseminated back out. And as you can see, we're also sensor agnostic, so we can work in IR, EO, and we're trying to grow our SAR capability. As mentioned before, we can be on the assets, so you're seeing one of the projects we also worked on where we deployed Chooch, and it's kind of dark, but you can kind of see it. We're in this little tiny box up front, and we're doing everything from detecting people and vehicles in remote areas where we may deploy troops in. We have a very strong team. We have Emra and Hakan Goldkin, our co-founders. They're brothers. Emra is a serial entrepreneur. Hakan is what I call the guru, created the platform. We have Anubhav, our COO, who has great experience growing and scaling companies. And then Michael Liu, our president of strategy and growth, who's also here today. So if you're interested, please go and talk to him about our strategy and growth plan. And Will Sims, who's our managing director, former Marine officer, and myself, I'm also a former Army Black Hawk crew chief. You can also see some of our partners from Orbit Logic to Lockheed Martin. We're working on a full self-hosted kit, which with our partner Hewlett Packard. And to date, we're a post-Series A startup, so from our seed and round A, we've raised over 25 million. And we've done over 5 million in small business innovation, tongue twister there for a second, SIBRs for short. So what is next? As I was describing, we're trying to bring the full AI lifecycle now to the edge. So what that is taking the ability to generate your data sets, annotating labeling, training a model, testing it, and then deploying it out, all in an air-gapped environment. So this could be at a forward operating base, and as you see new objects of interest, you can start rapidly training and developing and deploying those models out. We're also looking to build new routes, just like the NGA is doing in St. Louis. And we really want to enhance our, what we call GeoChooch, our capabilities in the geospatial area. And then we're also looking to raise a Series B round. So again, if you're interested, Michael Liu would be your guy to speak to. And then I'm just going to leave you all with one last note. If you all want to just get your hands on some AI and test it out and play with it, please go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and download the Chooch IC2 app. You can use your phone's camera to rapidly detect objects, people. It's pretty good. I call it a nice little demonstration app. So thank you all for your time. Thank you, Capital Innovators, for setting all this up. Thank you, the NGA folks, for working with us. Nate, you've been amazing. Greg Sarman, you've been a great mentor. Appreciate all of your work and attention you have given us. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thanks, Omid. So that wraps up all of our pitches for the day. Thank you all so much for coming and spending the time. We really can't thank you enough. It's this group here that kind of brings us all together. So we have another hour and a half to network out in the bar area. I believe they've unlocked the refrigerators, so good news. And we also have some snacks and cookies. So please stick around, say hello. Looking forward to meeting everybody. Thanks.